episode 10.
There you go. You finally got to the double figures.
Double figures. Can we quit now?
I don't know. Should we quit?
When we get to 100.
100.
God, that's a long time away.
Yeah, that's like 200 weeks.
No.
Well, it's like 180 weeks from now. But
I'll just quit now then.
Right, okay.
Just get ahead of the game.
I'm going to try and remember to put everything into this episode.
Please, Stobbie. I mean, that, yeah.
If you listen to episode 9, remember and catch up with episode 9.1 as well.
Why is that, Stobbie? Remind everyone.
Because I messed up.
Yes, and who saved you?
My brother.
Thanks to
Mr. Ian.
So here we are, episode 10 of the Perth podcast.
We are... I don't know where I was going with that one.
Right. So I'm just going to do this episode myself, I think. Stobbie's clearly lost the plot. Is it the paint fumes? We've been painting the office.
I'd love to blame the painkillers. The painkillers?
The painkillers. Right. I'm looking for a co-host, guys. If anyone wants to join me, please apply on Facebook. I'm only joking. I won't kick you out, Stobbie. I might. So let's quickly get into what's changing in Perth, what's new, what's happening. I'd say event roundup, but we haven't actually been to any events because we've been far too busy.
Plus we're recording this really early, so there's not been that much time in between.
Well, none of us have had time, have we? Nah. Time seems to be a real issue this year. Yeah. So, and despite the millions of pounds that we get paid to do this, would you believe?
I know.
You've not seen any of that, have you?
No. Not yet. I'm
Another advice.
Yeah. Checks in the mail.
Yes, I believe so. But yeah, so there's been a few things happening. Perth has a couple of announcements. So what you got first?
The Courier were reporting that an ambitious British watch brand has called time on its Henley-on-Thames base in England and is relocating to Perth. Which is going to trigger a bit of a recruitment drive.
Ooh. So
the Marlowe Watch Company are on their way up, if they're not already here. It says they're already here, but I don't know where they are. So there will be jobs coming from that. So that is good news for Perth.
That's really good. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, it's saying here quite successful. They've received crowdfunding investment last year and they saw a 488% jump in profits.
Between 15 and 18.
Yeah, which is pretty darned good.
Just shows you.
We've seen the same because, 488% of zero is still zero. So that's exactly what we've had the same amount of profit as well. But no, it's really good news for Perth. And someone like that are wanting to come up here. So they're saying that the Mr. Goff, the owner, said that the move's actually got a political aspect to it as well, which is quite a statement to make.
Yeah, so they are. It was part of a planned expansion strategy, but was also strongly influenced by Scotland's position on remaining in the EU.
Wow.
Now, we here at the Perth Podcast are apolitical.
Yes.
But it's interesting to know that these kind of things can affect business decisions.
Well, I'll be honest, the only other things I've heard is a sort of negative connotation between people threatening to leave Scotland if things were to change in that manner. So it's really refreshing to see a company that's going, actually, no, it's the other way around, guys. We want in on you because of your, the potential decision. And no matter which way you look at the potential for another referendum or whatever, the bottom line is there's a big watch company coming to Perth and making jobs for that reason. So it's not all doom and gloom, folks.
No, absolutely. It's great news. What else have we got?
So in another move, we have a new place opening up in Perth called Dewberry, D-E-W Berry, which is some sort of wine bar, cafe type place at the end of the old High Street, near to High Street, where the council buildings are.
I was going to say not the old High Street.
Not the old High Street, the new old High Street, the old new High Street, the pedestrianised part of the High Street.
Question: where is Old Zealand?
What? What, the fact we've got New Zealand?
Yes.
Oh, it's just in the road, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Turn left at Kiwi Road? I don't know. Dewberry is the ideal place to watch the world go by while tucking into breakfast, sampling a lunchtime speciality, or savouring a slice of our homemade cake. Now, the fact they've just mentioned cake, I'm there already. Yeah. Can we pause this and finish it later? Is it open?
No, I think it's closed now.
Is it closed? No, it is open. It's open till 4. We have time. We have 20 minutes to go and get cake. So, folks, they're open Monday to Friday, 8:30am to 4pm, Saturday, 8:30am to 5pm, and on a Sunday, 9:30 to 4pm. And they're closing on Christmas Day, slackers. Can't get the staff.
Unreal.
We'll be recording on Christmas Day, won't we, Stobbie?
Yeah.
Stobbie? In other news, of course, our very own Praveen Kumar from Tabla Restaurant, he's been expanding his enterprise recently. I'm sure a lot of people, if you're into Tabla's food at all, you'll have known that they now provide frozen food. Frozen curries, rice, naan breads. And I can attest to the fact I bought one and it genuinely tastes almost as good as you get in his restaurant. I microwaved it and I thought, oh my God, this is stunning.
Yeah.
So he has now expanded. You can now buy it in the Crieff Food Company up in Crieff. So local places I know of, I think, am I right in saying Provender Brown sell them?
Could be.
Could be, I think, in the positive. But also up at Gloagburn Farm.
Right.
Gloagburn sell it as well in their freezer section. So homemade, almost as good as takeaway food. You're normally about £5 for a pot of the curry side of things. We tend to make our own rice, but there's rice as well as, a couple of pounds, and it's really good. So Praveen is really, pushing the boat out here. He's got a new unit up at the food sort of emporium thing, up at Inveramond area.
Right.
So he was one of the first people to take, if not the first person to take a unit up there, trying to expand Perth's food horizons. So his food's available, not just from the restaurant, not just from takeaway. Now you can get one, shove it in the freezer, and you can buy it online as well. So the minimum order kills me. I'm the only one in my house that eats curry, I'd have curry for like 3 years in my freezer if I bought it. But yeah, check it out. It's really good stuff.
And I think that pretty much wraps up all the sort of the news that we've got for today. Like I said, we've recorded this a bit earlier than normal, so...
Yeah, I think we've got enough to get on with. Shall we move on to our special guest?
Special guest. So, you spoke to this actress from The Mummy and from... She's going to be in the new Black Widow film as well. Stop. What?
No, it wasn't her.
Oh.
The name's right.
Right.
But this person's much more important.
Okay.
So I had a conversation with Rachel Weiss. And she works for Rowan, well, doesn't work for, she's one of the partners of Rowan Consultancy, which is based on the Old High Street in Perth. And we had a very long conversation about her Menopause Cafe and the Flushfest Festival.
Great name.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Flushfest. The Menopause Cafe actually came from the idea of the Death Cafe, where people get together and talk about death, because it's something that if you don't have someone to talk about this stuff, you're stuck. So what do?
Part of your grieving process is
to talk about it.
Yes.
Absolutely, and it should be. And I actually know that you're not the only one out there feeling these feelings or are struggling with whatever it might be. And of course, same for the menopause. Many people don't want to speak about these sort of things, from periods to anything to do with what women have to put up with, almost every single day of their lives. And Rachel came in to talk about that stuff. So here she is. So I'm here with Rachel Weiss from Rowan Consultancy, one of the partners there, who actually is in the same building as us downstairs. She's a fantastic neighbour. Thank you for being such a good neighbour. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to come upstairs and see your rooms. Lovely
One whole
views.
floor up. Yeah.
Makes all the difference.
So you're here to talk about Flushfest, which we'll come on to in a minute, but you are the founder of the Menopause Cafe, is that correct?
Yes, that's a charity started in Perth.
Right. Can you tell us a wee bit about Menopause Cafe then?
Sure. About 3 years ago now, February 2017, Kirsty Walk did a documentary TV programme called Menopause and Me. And I was just sitting thinking, what should we watch tonight? I said to Andy, my husband, so we watched that. And I turned to him and said, this is going to happen to me soon. Because the programme said average age in the UK for menopause is 51. I was 50 then.
You don't look a day over 40.
Well...
Flattery will get
Good
me
day.
everywhere, won't
Yeah,
it?
don't believe it. But the thing is, that's part of the whole menopause thing, is so what if I do look 50
Absolutely.
or 60?
Yep.
We've got this whole thing in society, you got me off on my hobby horse, that women, or people probably, men as well, should always want to look younger than they are.
Yes, absolutely.
And that really annoys me.
Yeah.
You don't, but that whole thing and all the marketing and the media and the celebrities are telling us that we shouldn't want to look our real age, which is a bit odd. Anyway, I digress. Where were we? Oh yes, the fact that I was 50 then. So, we watched the TV programme. I said, I better find out about this menopause thing. It's going to happen soon. And also it struck me, Kirsty had pointed out that people don't talk about it. Which is a bit
so true.
Odd,
Yeah.
given it happens to half the population. Like
Exactly.
to more people than pregnancy happens, and we're fine talking about pregnancy. And so it will happen to every woman, and it will affect the men that they live with and work with, unless they're really lucky. But most of the time it will affect the men they live and work with. So it's kind of, this is not a niche minority thing.
No, absolutely not.
But it's shrouded in silence.
It is.
So that just got my interest, and I said to Andy, do you think anyone would be interested in a menopause cafe? A bit like a death cafe, but different taboo topic, because we'd run death cafes before.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
In Blend Coffee Lounge.
Yes.
Down the road.
They're great down there.
Yeah, they are
accommodating.
so lovely.
Yeah.
And they, just quick plug for Blend, they sell vouchers for £5 that you can give to anyone who's on the street or homeless. Or
Oh,
whatever,
wow, right,
instead of
yeah.
giving money, which I quite like.
That's fab, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we turned up at Blend before, because deathcafe.com is like an international movement where you just rock up, drink tea, eat cake, talk about death and dying. You will either love this idea or you will recoil in horror. So I thought, why not borrow a good idea? And could you do the same thing about menopause? Maybe people would feel more comfortable if they want to talk about menopause to turn up in a place which basically says it's okay to talk about this here.
Absolutely.
Because maybe their family and friends don't want to talk about it. So that's how we had the idea.
Brilliant. So Menopause Cafe then, how often does this happen?
Okay, so Menopause Cafes are pop-up events. We got permission from Death Cafe to copy them up. So pop-up events held by volunteers throughout the country, throughout the world now. We've got them in the USA, in Nairobi, Copenhagen. All started here in Perth.
Yes.
I'm very proud. Perth leading the way.
Perfect.
They're pop-up events. It's a social franchise. And no money involved, but it means anyone who wants to can go to our website, download our guide on how to run a menopause cafe.
Oh, brilliant.
Sign our working agreement to say they won't be plugging any commercial products or any
Got you.
giving advice on any way to deal with it. So as long as they stay with those principles and that they're open to everyone, these events, doesn't matter your age, your gender, colour of your hair, you're all welcome. So,
that's interesting. So as a man, if my wife, for example, can't talk about it or whatever, not saying she can't, if you're listening, Lisa, sorry. But if that became a thing, could I come along and actually find out more about it from a third person point of view sort of thing? Yeah.
Well, like younger women come, they're not going through the menopause, but they'd like to know what's going to happen. So they come and listen to the stories. Men, particularly when we hold them in the workplace. So a lot of employers locally, that would be Perth College, SSE and so on, hold a menopause cafe, and the young male managers need to come, because if you're a bloke in your 20s and 30s and one of your team members says menopause, can I have a fan, can I wear cotton instead of nylon, if that bloke manager has never said the word before or heard about it, it could be awkward.
Yeah, and probably nodding and agreeing at the time, but actually thinking, oh God, Google, right, what's going on. So
I think it's really important that anyone who's interested turns up.
Perfect. That sounds really nice.
What's lovely is the men who do turn up come in a spirit of humility, like they're there to listen and learn.
Yeah, good.
And that's lovely.
And in Perth then, so if I wanted to come on to a Perth Menopause Cafe, for example, how frequent do you normally hold them, and how can I find out more about them if I need to find out?
Well, to find out more, that's easier. That's www.menopausecafe.net.
Perfect.
There's a list of all the events worldwide, or we're on Facebook, Menopause Cafe 17. We're on Instagram and Twitter, at Menopause Cafe. Can't remember. At Menopause_Cafe. Who knows?
Find you.
But I think there's not much that comes up. So that's how you'd find out. There's a March one, which is on the 10th of March. That was as part of International Women's Day.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then the next event will be Flushfest, which is slightly different. So we hold about 3 or 4 a year, whenever us volunteers have enough time and energy to do it. We're not committing ourselves. Where there are other groups who do it every Monday, the first Monday of every month and whatever. They're just more organised. And if anyone listening wants to run one,
get in touch.
Just run one. You can do it as a one-off in your workplace or in a local cafe.
Brilliant.
Wherever.
Perfect. That sounds great. We've touched on the fact that you are a partner for Round Consultancy. Yeah. Do you want to talk a wee bit about Round Consultancy?
Because I think that actually led into doing this, with hindsight, which is a wonderful thing. So Round Consultancy downstairs, Canal Street, we do counselling and coaching and leadership training. And of course, counselling and coaching is all about the power of listening and being heard in a non-judgmental way, being accepted for who you are.
Absolutely.
So I can see that what I learnt in my day job at Rowan about the value of giving no shame, no blame, no judgment, and you're listening to someone, maybe informed my confidence that a menopause cafe would work.
Right.
Because a lot of people said to me, what if people don't talk? It's like, no, they will.
Yeah.
They're in a cafe, it's a familiar environment, you're getting them in small groups. They know everyone's here because they're interested in the menopause, they will. It's like trust the process, which is what we do at Rowan.
Right, okay.
And that if people are in an environment where they're not judged, they're accepted and someone understands them, then we grow. They flourish. Because we're not being defensive and ashamed and all the stuff you and I talked about earlier. So yeah, that's what Rowan does. We've got again, started in Perth, another Perth success story. We've now got, I think, 50 plus counsellors from London to Inverness. Our headquarters is still here. And we've got coaches throughout Scotland and training.
Nice.
We just help people lead more satisfying lives, help them figure out what's important for them.
Massive thanks for coming along. I know your time's very precious.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one more question.
Uh-huh.
If someone came to Perth, never been before,
Yeah.
is there one thing you would tell them to do or go and see?
Oh, can I get two?
Oh, go for it,
There are
two.
two, because we do have loads of visitors from around the world. I usually take them for a walk along the river, River Tay, all of that. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the other place is Scone Palace. I think we're so lucky.
Oh, yeah.
And particularly for visitors from newer countries, the history there, the grounds.
It's huge, isn't it?
It is.
And such a nice area just to walk around, if nothing else.
Yeah.
If you're not interested in history,
And if you're local, we can buy an annual pass, and it's really good value.
Yeah, and they put on some great events as
They
well.
do.
I mean, that's the Perth Island Games pretty much there now as well. And their horror thing last Halloween, I don't know if you went to that. That was fantastic.
Can't cope with horror.
I don't do
my
horror.
weak spot, yeah.
But yeah, that is a lovely place, Scone Palace. I'm there quite often for gigs and stuff like that,
and
for
gigs,
shoots.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so Scone Palace will walk the river.
That's what I'd
You're
say.
the second person that we've had in that said walk the river. Riverside Riverside Light Nights as well.
Yeah.
What a great event that is. Completely, free for the most part. A couple of paid events. You want to meet the stars. Absolutely fantastic.
Good. Can I do a plug for Flushfest?
Flushfest.
Yes.
We almost overlooked that completely.
Great.
Fire
There's
away.
just so much. We've had such a good chat. But the world's only Menopause Festival happens in Perth every year. When I first Googled Menopause Festival, nothing came up.
Wow.
There is a word for that, but I haven't looked it up. A word for when you Google a phrase.
Ungooglefiable.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. So, and the reason we hold a Menopause Festival is so it doesn't all become doom and gloom. Because, some of the symptoms are pretty rubbish.
Yes.
Not everyone gets all the symptoms. And so it can just turn into a great moan fest, which is not the point. So the strapline for Menopause Festival is break the taboo and have some fun.
Brilliant.
So on May 29th and May 30th in Perth, we've got a lovely comedy show, stand-up comedy, coming up from London and from Edinburgh. Erotic storytelling, not quite sure what that would be. Sounds good. On the Saturday night. Yeah. And remember, open to all genders. Friday night, we've got a whole cabaret lined up. They're all coming up from Edinburgh. The Silver Sisters Cabaret, which I think will be older women having so good girls' night out, if any listeners want that. And during the day on the Saturday, talks about the menopause from Dr. Heather Curry, creative workshops, poetry workshops, information, book signings. All happening at Dewars Centre, right near the train station.
Wow.
Flushfest on ice. You've got to come up with something for that.
ITV will buy that, I'm sure.
So that's happening. And again, if you go to the website, www.menopausecafe.net, you can buy your tickets. It's only 15 quid for the Saturday daytime.
Bargain.
Yeah. We've got grants. We're really lucky. It's sponsored by Lindsay's Solicitors.
Right.
So that enables us to keep the price affordable.
Brilliant.
So in your diaries now.
Flushfest.
Yeah, Flushfest, May 29th and 30th in Perth.
Perfect. Rachel, thanks for coming along.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was a great chat you just had with Rachel.
Rachel is brilliant. She really is. And actually, we could have talked all day. She's in the same building we are. She's downstairs. And the amount of times I've met in the corridor, and I think we're about an hour late to get home because we've just talked nonsense it's not nonsense, it's important, but it's still nonsense essentially. Our small talk is much bigger than normal small talk.
And you get those people, you get people that it just flows with.
And she's so accepting and open and honest. And that part in the story, she tells us that basically it was her own experience with the menopause that caused her to panic about what was happening to her, but also to go, wait a minute, why don't I know about this stuff? And the bottom line is, and we've mentioned it in other podcasts that we've done, we need to talk more.
Yes.
About anything and stuff, and we are all here and we're all suffering the same problems, all at different degrees. I love the bit when we're talking about the fact that your mental and physical health is not a straight line, it is an up and down graph. And at points when you're really low and someone kicks you the wrong way, then that can push you over the edge. And that's what life is. And actually, it's remembering that the troughs will be peaks again.
Yeah.
And, I love the film The Crow. You like The Crow? Have you seen The Crow?
Yes, that Brandon Lee.
Line, that
can't
line
rain all the time.
It can't rain all the time. And that's exactly what it is. And, that whole idea that whatever's happened to you now, it will get better. And you will come out the other side of it, probably stronger as a result. So, but talk about it. Yeah. What's going on? Talk about it. Talk to me. And open up when you can. Find that somebody to talk to. It's massively important.
And
But
if
yeah.
you don't know who to talk to, let
There's-
us know.
Exactly. There's things available. There are. You know,
We know
and
what's out there.
Yeah. Well, some of it.
Yeah,
Some-
well, I mean,
sometimes
not
our finger's
everything,
not on
but
the
we
pulse.
but we know a lot of what's out there.
We know everything.
And Perth provides a lot.
I know where you live. No, that does. It actually does, and way more than I think people realise. You know, there's
Yeah, 'cause-
lots of stuff out there.
I mean, the initial go-to ones are always like Samaritans, and now Andy's Man Club as well. They're a big
Absolutely.
one for that.
Yeah.
Women's Wellbeing Club now too. But there are other ones like Menopause Cafe, and even get in touch with Round Consultancy if you're not sure.
Absolutely.
They'll know. They'll have lots of contacts.
I think there's a lot of stigma around this stuff, you know, and people are afraid of what people might think of them, other people think of them. Totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Don't start by thinking it's not for you. Ask the question, is it for me, and go and find out more.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's World Fixed.
So-
Shall we move on to what's coming up?
Yeah, we maybe should. So what is coming up?
What is indeed coming up? So we put out a lovely couple of posts on our Instagram and Facebook and got some brilliant replies.
Yeah.
We asked people to tell us what's going on, what events have you got on, and what do you want a shout out for.
And people told us.
And they actually told us.
And keep telling us.
Keep telling us. And that's what we're basically what I'm saying now is you want yourself on here, let us know. Get
Yes.
in touch on Facebook, on Instagram, and let us know what's going on. First up though, what we got a response from is, or who we got a response from, I done good English, was a new book club called Princess of Pages. So they describe themselves as a friendly and inclusive book club based online with monthly meetups in Perth.
Yep.
So it sounds like you can do a lot of the work yourself at home, or not work, I shouldn't call it that, the pleasure of reading at home, and then just do the monthly meetup, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
So this is a newish local book club, friendly and inclusive with monthly meetups in Perth. They're saying right now their next meetup is 2 p.m. Sunday the 1st of March, and I think we are out by then, aren't we? Because we're recording this really early, so there's a good chance this is already out. But
No, this will not be out for another 6 hours.
you can another 6 hours. So if you're quick, you can get there. But
You
basically,
get
what
there
they're
6
saying
hours
is,
ago.
get a DeLorean, DM by Friday to reserve a place. It sounds like it's a quite regular thing.
Yeah, so there'll be a March month.
A March 1, April,
Yeah,
blah,
March
blah,
month,
blah.
yeah.
So it's the Instagram page is Princess of Pages UK.
So
and
give them a
they were
follow.
looking for a DM for booking your slot there. Sounds like a nice wee club.
Yeah, and it is. It's like I was saying before. You know, you watch a film, you want to talk about a film. You watch you play a game, you want to talk about that game. But how often do you have like you read a book and then you say to someone, "Have you read this book?" You know, it's
And it could be
rare.
months ago they read it and totally forgot, years ago and they've
So,
forgotten. So yeah,
yeah.
it's quite nice to read it together, absolutely.
And it's great to talk.
It's great to talk.
See, there's a
That's
theme
all
coming
linking
here.
in. Totally unintentional. I mean, intentional. We totally planned it this
Oh
way.
yeah, totally.
Aye, well done. Good planning.
So, on the 7th of March, we've got the Race Down the Aisle. So, Perth Amateur Operatic Society are having a fun run / walk
Right.
to fundraise for their upcoming production of The Wedding Singer.
Brilliant. I love that film.
Yeah, it's good. See, Billy Idol gets it. Why doesn't she get it? Which will be on in Perth Theatre. So they'll be doing that. Who can take part? Everyone, members of the cast, family, friends, kids and animals, all are welcome to come along and take part. If you want a sponsor form, just let them know and you can help raise money for them as well. They've got a dress code, which is comfy, but with a wedding theme if you can. That can be as simple as a veil, as well as your running gear, or you could go full tuxedo, kilt, wedding dress, hen party sash. No rude slogans if it can be helped.
Anything 80s, there we go.
Anything 80s.
Stobbie, I'll give you a tenner if you do this run in a wedding dress.
It'd need to be more than a tenner.
£11 final offer.
I'll think about it.
Right.
I don't know what the distance is.
Well, the ability is saying it's open to everyone, so I reckon it's not going to be massive.
No.
If you want to crawl, we might question it, but great. Crawl. Right. I'll give you £12 to do this in a wedding dress crawling.
See, you're just taking advantage of the fact that I don't turn down these challenges very often. It's like my mate messaged me, "You want to do a 30-kilometre obstacle race?" Aye, all right then.
Yeah, that was the wrong answer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was what was that?
No, I've not done it yet.
But you did one a couple of years back in Perth, didn't you?
I've done 5, I think. I've done
5? Are you insane?
I've done Spartan the last 2
Spartan
years.
race, that's right. I know a few people that did that, yeah. And the smile on their faces, I might be crying, I don't know, smiling on their faces at the end, though. Unbelievable achievement.
The best part for me was when I got back to the South Inch and my kid was waiting for me and she ran the last bit with me.
Brilliant.
And so that was good.
And then looked at you and went, why are you so tired? That was easy.
Yeah, I know. It was only 4.5 hours, 12 miles, you know.
Exactly.
So
Easy.
it was slow.
Do you know, I can barely walk up Canal Hill, never mind run up it, do a bunch of obstacles and come back down again. Jeez. But no, it's good stuff. So yeah, that's on, what date was that? That is the
7th of March.
7th of March. Race down the aisle.
So if you can't make it but do want to donate, see the Just Giving link from Perth Amateur Operatic Society. I've known about this club for as long as I can remember, and I still can't get the name right.
I've written it as PAOS on the
which did
title,
not
which
help.
probably
In the
didn't help. If I'd
slightest.
written it out properly, you might be like, oh yeah, I remember it now.
So thanks, Becky, for giving us that information.
Yes, yeah, it was submitted. Thank you very much. On March the 29th, we have the Yard are putting on another barket. This is their spring barket.
We love the Yard.
We love that. And we covered it back in, oh my God, remember that rain? Jeez, it was pouring it down with rain in the winter. We went to their winter barket and we had a blast, even though we didn't have a dog.
Yeah.
We had a microphone.
And pizza.
And pizza. Oh, the pizza was so good. So yeah, after the huge success of our Christmas barket, we are back again with our spring barket. Dog Friendly Perth are excited to have teamed up with the Yard once again to bring you our spring barket, a market especially for dogs, on Sunday the 29th of March. So the Yard, of course, is the ice factory.
Yes.
Down by the Shore Road, or on the Shore Road.
Which isn't exactly a mile out of town, is it?
It's not, and I used to walk that all the time when it was, when I was young and stupid, young and enthusiastic, to go there for nightclubby things and listen to the 3 songs they would play in the rock version of stuff, and it would all be nonsense after that.
It's funny because it would take you 10 minutes to walk there from town, but about an hour to walk back.
Yes.
The difference is staggering.
It depends what kebab shop you ended up at, though. But yeah, it was incredible. I remember getting chucked out at closing time and the amount of people in that street, and I remember that with fond memories. Well, I remember that vaguely. But yeah, so it's really good day out, and the entry fee is next to nothing. Everyone's having a good time. There's dogs everywhere. There's live music. There was a bunch of cool stuff going on. Get down to the Yard.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we have got some people from Perth, some local people who are fundraising for Alzheimer's Scotland.
What are they called?
Yep. So it's called Ziplining Over the Clyde. So Scott McKenzie and his fellow team members Laura Pratt, Fiona Lowe and Erin Redpath are ziplining over the Clyde to raise this money.
On purpose?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I don't understand it either.
How many bridges go for the Clyde? You could just walk. I'll get a taxi or something. You don't need a zip line.
But I think they do. I've seen it before, and I'm sure the zip line is actually from quite a height.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so
I
no
don't do
thank you.
heights.
Yeah,
No, I'm out.
But
I'm out.
Good on them. So if you are looking at that, if you hit justgiving.com /fundraising /Scott-McKenzie 36.
That's my age. It's not my age.
Plus the rest. You'll find Scott's Just Giving page in there, and like you say, great cause.
Yeah,
and support
absolutely.
your local
Yeah.
fundraisers.
So last on our agenda that people have submitted, Planet Perth have been in touch asking us to talk about the brand new zero waste shop that has opened in Perth. So we covered that the other week there. I actually went along, took some photographs on opening day. So the zero waste shop is all about bringing your own containers and things like that, or buying soap that doesn't have the horrible packaging and all that sort of thing, saving the planet a little bit at a time, basically. So there's pasta that you can put into your own packaging. There's soap, there's dispensers, all that sort of stuff. You can go in and get your own containers and fill them up and pay at the counter. So you're not being wasteful. You're reusing old tubs, which I think is a great idea, because we live in such a disposable world now, don't we? I mean, plastic bags and...
You think how much goes into your blue bin?
Oh, it is. I mean, I can fill a full green bin and a half normally at my house, and that's a house of 4. But I'm really glad that that's the case and not the other bin that we used to use. And I remember when those bins came along, my neighbour was all like, "Oh, it's ridiculous. Every 2 weeks to empty your normal bin. That's ridiculous." And well, it's not, because now the way that we recycle most things, or as much as we can, that's the bin that gets filled.
It just required a bit of a painful adjustment period, because I was similar.
I wasn't that long though. I do remember one of my friends complained about having to wash your tubs. I'm like, yeah, but in the long run, meh. But basically, so the new shop is the old Mill Street Cafe, Giraffe's Mill Street Cafe, which is on the island between the taxi rank and the bus stops outside the cinema, the big black building. And they are saying here that they are open every Monday, Friday and Saturday. So check it out. It's there's loads of stuff you can get there and save the planet.
Excellent.
So I think that's now us, isn't it? Is that all? Everything we've been submitted and everything we could find that we thought was worthy. I'm sure there's more on, but folks, get in touch. You want it covered? Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put out reminders every week, every 2 weeks as well.
Don't make promises you can't keep. This is like when you said that you won't miss anything out again. We'll try.
I'll miss this bit out though.
Yeah, that's what I get for letting you edit it. But yeah, folks, get in touch with us. You want your event or your fundraiser or whatever it might be, or your regular classes. I don't care. Get in touch. Let us know. Your Facebook, Instagram, The Perth Podcast. Oh, Twitter. We're on Twitter as well. I always forget about that one. Get in touch with us. Let us know. We'll cover it. Is that the music I hear?
It's on its way.
That means it's finished.
Yep.
We're done. Episode 10's over. Massive thanks to our guests. What?
You said it like it was a relief. Like, there you go, guys. You made it to the end.
I didn't go into this with a lot to say, and I feel like we've done plenty. We've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
But massive thanks to our guest, Rachel Weiss.
Yep.
Check out all the people that we mentioned on the show. So you've got the Zipline charity thingy. You've got Scott McKenzie. You've got the Yard doing their spring market.
Princess of Pages, UK.
Pages, absolutely. And all the other stuff that we mentioned. Have a look, folks. Plenty going on in Perth.